Hello. In front of me I have my Rex 121 knife at 68 Rockwell. Creeley Blades Mako model. And then what I have here is my KME system. What's happening is I have a Sandrin tungsten carbide knife on the way at 71 Rockwell. And it is likely going to last a good long time on the edge. Not a steel though, a tungsten carbide. So this is about as good as steel can offer in terms of edge retention, as far as I'm aware. There may be something slightly better or about it equivalent, but at the minute, this is definitely at or near the top CPM Rex 121. So I'm going to try and get this to the apex of edge retention. It may already be there. Jethro over at Knife Support has done a very, very nice thin 13 degree edge on this. It is a micro convex, or almost a straight up convex, because you can see it's quite a tall bevel. But we're going to see what the KME can do. I'm going to go as low as the KME can go on it. And I'm going to go at a 300 grit finish, and that is it. And then I'm stopping. As long as it cuts paper, I'm then going to start the rope cut test. I reckon it was going to be fierce. So let's get into it. My arm is feeling better. I've been doing varied exercises and whatnot. The S125V test last week knocked it about a little tiny bit, but no long-term soreness. So I reckon I'm good to go for this one. And I'm going to have to be good to go for when that 71 Rockwell Sandrin gets here, that's for sure. Let's get sharpening. So I'm going to be starting with the Beast at 50 grit, getting some little bit of profiling done. I'm largely going to keep the dimensions that Jethro has left the knife with, but I'm just going to more toothy up that edge, see what I can do. Well, it's not every day that the Beast stone on the KME feels like a 300 grit stone. In KME, folks will know what that means, but today is that day. So what I've got now is a really sort of raggedy 50 grit edge. It is more of a micro bevel, really, because that grind that Jethro put on was a bit higher and narrower. So I'm really just adding some real teeth to that absolute cutting apex there. So moving to the 140 extra coarse. That just feels like the 1500 stone. Goodness. going to hit it now with the coarse 300 grit. It's already kind of slicing paper. In case you missed that clumsy angle demo before, it's at 15 degrees. I think, I'm not sure if I said that. This will be the last stone I use. I'm going for ultra toothy, and this is still a pretty rough stone, really. It's still cold, coarse. It's gradual. I think it's probably lost a bit of bite since I've been using the KME, so even if its grit number's a little bit higher, it's still a pretty decent toothy finish. Just going to rig this one up, see what we can get with Rex 121. Right, so what we have here is a 300 grit finished edge, which is certainly sharp. So it certainly starts the test slicing paper. However, it isn't like super slick sharp. It's like, I'm gonna say this is like rope cutting sharp. This is like, if you were to look at this really, really close, I reckon you'd almost see almost a serrated effect, because that's the way these kind of carbides form. They are quite rough and ragged, and I think rough and ragged is exactly what we need to cut as much rope as we can before it no longer slices a held sheet of paper. I would say that if I just kept cutting rope until like the knife couldn't cut rope anymore, which would be a vastly different test, this would probably do very, very well. However, this is just a theory at the minute. I'm going to take this up to the shed and see how long it cuts that rope before it stops making a slice into paper using this 300 grit raggy, craggy, nasty old edge. Let's get to it. Well, how wrong was I? So 500 with the really rough edge. I guess, I mean, it kind of makes sense that an edge that's not as sharp to begin with isn't going to go as well as, you know, an edge that was really, really sharp to begin with. I was probably putting a little bit too much maybe pseudoscience into this. But yeah, so with a 300 grit finish, with no discernible burr, I'm pretty sure I got the burr and everything. Maybe I just it could have been sharper, who knows. But 300 grit felt about right for stopping there, like how easily it bit into paper, that sort of stuff. Usually you do go on. Maybe I'll try 600 grit. That might be the magic grit for this. Don't know. Really interesting. It's still definitely like a rope cutting beast. I don't know if you can hear the sounds of it cutting rope. It's like a real sort of shreddy, teary sound. In fact, it's still cutting rope really, really easily. It's almost forcing through there. I'd say this may be a limit of my test, really. This is my limitation of my no longer slicing paper. There are lots of different kinds of sharpness, I guess. So I would say this is still cutting rope as easy as it ever has been. It's just the edge, maybe the teeth get a little bit too far apart to be able to bite into the paper. At any rate, yeah, you don't always get the results you think you're going to get. So, of course, I'll still share this video with you all. It's a really enjoyable little knife to cut with, and the edge is just tearing through the paper, through the rope. It's just when it comes to the actual litmus test that I've adopted on my testing of this, it always happens, always cuts. But just a little bit skippy and a little bit Well, while I was doing the test, it stopped doing it, and yeah, it certainly isn't reliable anymore. Interesting though, yes, lots of different kinds of sharpness, and I would say this is still a very sharp rope cutting knife, but yeah, for your standard paper cutting, all that sort of stuff, you know, slicing delicately through the skin of the grape, then yeah, you probably would want to go up a few, you know, more in terms of your finishing grit. Just checking after strop, see how it's gone. Just after a quick touch up on the Tormek with the Tormek paste in it. That seems to have had a very rehabilitative effect on the edge too. So I would say that yeah, Jethro's edge is probably optimal edge retention for this so far. I would suspect maybe ramping the grit up to maybe a 6 or a 700 or so, and then maybe finish with a strop, just to definitely deburr with maybe a bit of a chunkier, grittier compound. I don't know, a few different thoughts, but yeah, it's funny that 500 cuts is like a bit of an anticlimax for a steel. That just goes to show how crazy this steel is. But anyway, Rex 121, another data point on this very, very interesting steel. Thanks guys. Sandrin hopefully soon, and a few other crazy and normal videos coming up. Thanks guys. Goodbye.